Hello.
This is Darina
And Deanna
with Bledsoe Empower. Welcome back to our podcast, Empower El Mundo. We are your former collegiate athletes, now trained mental health counselors.
Yes, on this podcast, you can expect to hear about all things total wellness. That is going to include physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual connections. So make sure to tune in every single week because we'll be here.
And we're on all social media platforms. So make sure you follow us and subscribe to Empower El Mundo. Let's get into it.
Let's go. We're back.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back. I am Darina.
I'm Deanna.
And we are Bledsoe
Empower.
Empower.
What up?
Man, season 2 is just rocketing.
We are on and popping.
All the
Episode 2 of season 2.
Número dos.
Dos.
Man, tune in, you guys. We have such a good chat for you today. If you've been following us on Instagram, on Facebook, or YouTube, then you'll know that we are promoting our Empowered as Fuck journal. This is a way to finally express yourself, take care of business, reaching your goals in such a unique, dynamic, and shameless way.
It's literally the best. So for those of you who haven't heard yet, we're glad that you're here. And we're going to really talk about why having a journal is important. I'm sure that everybody has heard, oh, you should write stuff down. Journaling is effective, blah, blah, blah. But we don't really know what the purpose is for it. So Darina and I realize that there's such a need, just as like being a human being, for you to know how to communicate with yourself in more ways than just like your thoughts in your head. So because Darina and I are, we've got this plant now that's right, for those of you who are listening, we have this plant that's just in the middle of the video for our YouTube. If you haven't gone to that, go now. It's Empower El Mundo, so you could watch us talk. And I am literally beating it up because it is every time I talk with my hands, I'm like laying out this leaf.
Hands. That plant can catch hands.
Very much from the west side of Phoenix.
Okay.
So anyway, we are licensed counselors here in the state of Arizona.
Yes,
and so what we've done with our Bledsoe Empower business is that we changed the perspective of how we're able to work with clients. So what we do is within our business, we're mindset and resilience coaches. So what the difference is between counselors and coaches is that with counseling, you tend to focus more on mental illness. So we're talking like anxiety, depression, trauma. We're really diving into those bags and unpacking them.
Yes.
But with coaching, we're not really focusing on that. The focus is to figure out what aspects of your life needs more attention, and we're organizing those.
And another thing about coaching is that we're focusing on performance, right? So this is performance in your job, performance in your relationships, performance in following through with yourself. So with journaling, it's a great tool to ensure that you are following through, that you're tracking your progress. So especially being counselors, one thing that we notice is there's a lot of pushback in journaling. People do not like to do it. They do not want to write. They don't want to connect with emotions through the form of writing. They'd rather just talk it out. And the reality of it is you need both. You need to express yourself verbally as well as non-verbally through writing or even art, right? There's a lot of different ways to do it. But for today, we're going to talk about journaling and the problems that are found oftentimes, or the reasons why we encourage people to journal. So one big thing, especially with the holidays coming up, there's a lot of loss that people experience during this time, and it kind of re-triggers quite a bit of things, right? Family members that can't be with us, maybe due to COVID, maybe we've lost them due to their own illnesses, etc. So that would be a good reason to turn to a journal to express yourself. Another reason is because you're expressing yourself to the homies, right? You talk to your girls all the time. You're hitting up your guys. You're talking to other people, maybe a religious individual, and you're not feeling understood. right? You feel like you're not organizing your thoughts well enough to express them effectively to where you're getting yeah, you get it. Like you get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so those are some reasons to turn to a journal.
What do you think keeps people away from it and not consistently writing down thoughts and ideas?
I think it's just the fear of what they will expose themselves to, that reality check. Reality is scary for a lot of people, especially when it's a reality of how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what's been going on in your life. Like, great example, when we talk about relationships, on our last episode, we talked a lot about relationships, situationships, entanglements, the bennies, also known as friends with benefits, right?
Benefits. Yes.
But when we journal or kind of track what's happening in a relationship, we start to kind of expose ourselves to what's actually happening. Like, we know this is toxic. We know something's going on. There's something in our intuition. There's something telling us inside that something's wrong. And when we put it on paper, the reality hits. It's very different. It's like we connect to it on a different level.
I think that a major part of that is, and really what happens with journaling and coaching and even counseling, is you're forced to slow down and really analyze that moment. So it allows quite a bit of opportunity for you to take ownership on what is going on. It's also putting things like right in front of your face. So, for example, really for me specifically, like when I was younger, I didn't really journal. You know what I mean? Like I was like, if I had stuff going on, let me go play sports or let me go work out or talk with Darina or talk with my friends, like using the more common ways to have an outlet. And then as I got older, I realized all of the answers that I have for whatever issues I'm going through are within me. Ultimately, I can get advice from other individuals and take in their perspectives, which is still a very valuable thing to do. And ultimately, if I'm able to find the answers within myself, because I'm going to only really listen to myself, then that's going to be the most beneficial, And so what you're doing when you're using a journal is you're writing down whatever thoughts you have, and you're really putting a language to those thoughts instead of them just being words and ideas that are floating in your head.
Absolutely. And with journaling, there's so many complexities to it, right? Think about the voice that you use when you're talking to a friend, when you're talking to a parent, when you're talking to yourself. They're very different. There's a lot of different language in each voice you use. Very seldom do we tap into that internal voice or to our internal dialogue, right? What we're thinking and how we're actually speaking internally or in our minds. When we put that voice on paper, it's loud. We can hear it. And at times that can be a very overwhelming reality. That aha moment and the enlightenment that comes with it can really throw us off of what we thought or who we thought we were. So journaling is a very effective tool. Here's some additional reasons why I usually encourage folks to journal.
Well, do you journal?
I do journal. I used to journal a lot more when I was when I felt I wasn't being understood by others. And so and the environment I was in was not healthy for me. So where I was I was working at a hospital. It was high responsibility, high stress environment. At the time, the women in my department, it was all women. They were all married, and I had just gotten out of a relationship, and it was not a voluntary thing. It was involuntary on my end, and it was very challenging to be at work, working 12 hours, dealing with some individuals that were very psychiatrically ill, and then hearing about Valentine's Day coming up or the holidays coming up,
My gosh.
and not having the support there. I mean, I'm working, right? We're working, but at the same time, wherever you work, people are talking about their personal business, and that was not something I wanted to talk about. So I turned to journaling. I had a lot of good support. I think I expended the support though. there's only so much others can give until you go inward and you start looking for the answers yourself. And so journaling was such a good way for me to release. I'd be at work and I knew I was going to cry. I knew I was going to cry.
Breakups are so hard.
They really hurt. I mean, you're talking about allowing somebody to step into your life and being vulnerable with them on so many different levels. And this wasn't like a month of being together. This was a couple of years, right? And so the times that I knew I was going to cry at work, I would compartmentalize, right? I would put my mind in a different place emotionally and just be in like a logical mind or a rational mind until I could have a break. And then I would take my break in my car or go to the park and I journal and cry and get it out and then go back to work until I was able to go home and review my journal, right? Or continue writing. It was really cathartic for me. It was so healthy. And it helped me stay grounded and stay focused and be able to start looking at the future in a different way. Instead of future tripping, I was future planning, right? Figuring out ways to stay empowered, staying resilient, healing myself, right? Journals have such a healing effect. What about you? When have you journaled?
I will write stuff down. I'm very sensitive.
She writes a lot, you guys, and writes very well. Her penmanship.
Yeah, but the grammar be off sometimes. But nonetheless,
We all can't be rock stars, buddy.
Darina, did you just kick that
I
plant?
did. I nudged it a little bit.
This plant is literally taking a beating. So again, if you're not on our YouTube yet, please come watch how this plant is just eating it up. Nonetheless, so what I have noticed, at least in this stage of my life, where I am using my journal more often for is to set goals and achieve them. So for me right now, it's more of an accountability thing and pushing my mind to really envision what I could see my life looking like. So for example, Darina and we've had this coaching business for a couple of years. And, for any entrepreneur, that over time, your vision is going to change. Your business is going to grow and it's going to evolve in different areas. So that is the stage that we're at. You know what I mean? Like we're working with a lot more coaching clients. We now have this product that we've created and it started from a thought and it's now evolved into something that's actually in our hand. And I wish I had it right now. It's over there. I'll show you guys in a second the actual visual of it. But that's what I've been using a journal for recently is I want to envision my financial goals. I want to envision the goals of this business. And also I want to envision the goals that I have within my mind and how I want to change my body. So thank you, Hassan, our amazing producer.
Shout out to Hassan.
Hassan is amazing.
Number one.
So for those of you watching on YouTube, here it is. For those of you listening, go to YouTube and then you can see it, or to our Instagrams. At Deanna Bledsoe and at Darina Bledsoe.
Yes.
So here is a proof of our awesome journal. It's called Empowered as Fuck. And what we do is we really focus on those 5 areas of life. So we focus on the mind-body connection. We focus on wealth. We focus on your support system, like your platonic relationships, your romantic relationships, which is always fun. What love really feels like. And then lastly, and really what's most important is it's a guiltless pleasure points section, which is all about you and your self-care.
You guys got to get this. You got to get it. You got to get it. We are actually doing a Black Friday sale. So if you haven't got it yet, you better hop on this order.
It's 15%.
Okay.
And I like to save money.
I love a good deal.
And it's right around the holidays.
Yes, great gift. This journal is tailored towards women. With that being said, men, you guys can learn a lot.
Well, you can get this for your girl.
You can get this for your girl.
You can get this for your moms. Really anybody. And the way that you can find it is the link in our bio on our Instagrams and also at our website, www.bledsoeempower.com.
Heck yeah. So, going back to why journal, right? Because this is the number one question we get. Why journal? Journal because you don't have a support system. Journal because you don't feel understood. Journal because you are not following through on your goals. Journal to track how you're doing to work towards your goals. Journal to reflect years later, months later, days later to see and compare where you were to where you are. Journal because maybe you have some custody issues and you need to track some things down, right? Journal because
You have thoughts. And
You
you got to
need
put them on
to.
paper, okay? If we can make it as simplistic as possible,
yeah, there's so many reasons.
you listen, human beings have over 60,000 thoughts every single day. A lot of those are recycled and they're repetitive. So, if you want to really have control over the narrative of your thoughts, then it's important for you to be able to write those down and be uh, consistent with the thoughts that you are recycling. So, if you need to have more positive thoughts, we need to put those on paper and we need to consistently remind ourselves and affirm our own value. That is
Absolutely.
how you change your thoughts from negative to positive. That's one of the major ways.
So, this is one thing our journal will help you do. It's going to help you heal, it's going to help you achieve your goals, it's going to help you gain self confidence, it's going to improve your writing and communication skills, it's going to reduce your stress, it's going to help you find inspiration, it's going to strengthen your memory, and it's going to help you prioritize what what we need to kind of pour into. And so oftentimes we prioritize others' needs instead of ourselves. And this journal is going to help you get on track. Woo, empowered as fuck. I'm getting empowered. I feel it just talking about it.
Listen, it's for you.
Yo,
It's for you, and we would love to get it to you. So, with that being said, I think that's all that needs to be said.
So many good
Essentially.
reasons. Essentially. So there was something that was really interesting, and this is a kind of like a gender thing that we found. So on our page at Empower El Mundo, we asked the question, do you journal? We wanted to just get an idea from the audience, right, or our followers. And surprisingly, we noticed that we had more men saying that they do journal than women. And so when Deanna and I were talking about this, my brain went into nerd mode. And I started telling her about, well, IQ testing results actually show that men are much better at nonverbal communication in comparison to women, and women have a higher vocabulary than men, right? We talk. We're really good at it. So journaling is a really effective tool for men to express themselves, because we know when it comes to opening up, when it comes to being vulnerable, the expectation is to do it through verbal communication, and you can do it through the written word. It's so powerful. It's so healing. So wanted to share that little nugget.
Yeah. Yeah, men, we're creating something in the works for you. It's in the
Yes,
future.
we are.
But yeah, men, ironically though, like I didn't really expect as many men to journal, to be honest. But you guys have a lot of thoughts, you guys have a lot of feelings, you guys have a lot of ideas, and anything that's written down, it just allows it to become a little bit more real, which means that you'll more than likely execute it.
Yes, absolutely. Men, you've always had feelings. You've always had amazing ideas. Put that to paper, keep track of it, and stay empowered. So, with that being said, I think this is a good point to encourage you again to get this Empowered as Fuck journal.
That's also known as a plug.
That's a plug.
If you guys want to hear us talk about any other topics, comment those below from our for our YouTube fam. Comment that below. Let us know what topics you want to hear about. What are the things that you're struggling with? What are the things that you would love us to just like dive in and get a little deeper with?
Yes. And make sure to subscribe, share, comment, follow, all that good stuff.
Yeah. You guys, be empowered.
Stay empowered.
It's live empowered. You're a little rusty on that
I'm a
one.
little rusty.
Be empowered.
Live empowered.
Yeah.
You gotta be empowered to live empowered. Hey, hey, hey. Ah, my guy. Great episode.